Welcome to Feather Boot Camp, an online class here at MQ Resource. I'm Suzanne, and I'll be your guide as you learn how to create beautiful freehand over-the-top feathers. Before we start, I have a few notes, a camp rule, so to speak. I may be your drill sergeant, but I am not here to give you a hard time. That means you cannot give yourself a hard time either. Everyone has to start somewhere, and not all of us are lucky enough to be perfect our first time doing anything. You'll hear me harp on this as we go on. Please check your negative thinking at the door, allow yourself to make mistakes, and plan on having a really great time. I start by assuming that everyone is a beginner. Even if you find the introductory material to be review, please humor me and pay attention. I use some specific terminology that you won't want to miss. Besides, you might learn something new. This is a process class, not a product class. The goal is to work towards perfecting the feathers themselves so that you can extend them into any situation. I will give you some block and border designs as examples, but the goal is to learn how to make beautiful freehand feathers, not to learn specific block designs. In week 1, we're going to start with basic over-the-top freehand feathers on a straight line. In week 2, we'll move on to feathers on a curved line and really focus on making shapely feathers. In week 3, we'll work on feathers on deep curves. In week 4, we'll talk about feathers in closed shapes, particularly in the centers of feathered wreaths. And in week 5, we'll talk about feather variations, something I like to call decorated feathers. This will also be a time for us to do a general wrap-up of the entire month's class. Each week, depending on the week, the general plan for the week is as follows. On Mondays, you'll have a drawing lesson, and this will include video of me drawing on a digital whiteboard, as well as traceables to download and print, and task lists for you to follow. On Tuesdays, you'll hopefully have more time to draw. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, depending on the week, you may have a stitching lesson, which will include video of me stitching on my long arm. You might be encouraged to spend the time practicing, and you might be sent on virtual field trips or given suggestions for additional resources. On Fridays, we'll review and have a self-check. You get the weekends off, but I recommend continuing your drawing practice. Since it's Monday of week 1, it's time for you to go find the video labeled Week 1 Drawing Lesson. It should be right underneath this video in the Week 1 lesson posting in the classroom forum. Good luck and have fun.